here and at home. Good. Check out. You know what to check out, Jay. Check out the. Let me know how the sound is coming through on the other side. Check it out, Jay, and let me know what's going on over there. Greetings, salutations. Welcome to Conversations with TNathan. How does format look? How does it look? How does this format look? Because I've been experimenting with formats. That's what I do. I saw because I didn't know how you all saw it until I watched it on my phone while I was live. And I was like, you know what? I don't like this. So I had to move some stuff around. I realized I couldn't move anything around in that format. So I said this format. And I was like, maybe this will be better on the vertical and the horizontal watches. And let's try this. So we're gonna try it this way for a little while. Sound on the other app is good. Sound on the other app is good. Thank you, Jay. Thank you. Hey, Meta. Thanks, Jay. All right. Greetings, salutations. Yeah, so ever since Gracie told me all that other stuff was on the screen I didn't know about, I was like, I'll find a way to get rid of it. I found the way, finally, because I took the time. Because usually I don't have time. Uh, but I took the time this weekend, messed with a couple of things, and I was like, hey, we'll look. Maybe this will look better for a little while. I don't know. It looks better. Looks better. Yeah, I don't know. All this stuff is not in my face. That was the end goal. All this stuff is not in my. No need to fear. Penelope is here. Yeah. So it just takes me a little while because I have to stop and do it, and I just be so busy. But I took time to do it. And this is what we got. So y'all know what time it is. It's time for dun dun dun. Let's see if I got this part right. Let's get
Conversations with TNathan delves into the stories of activists, scholars, and everyday heroes who have fought to continue the fight for justice, equality, and liberation. Not only will he educate and inform, but also empowers listeners to become active participants in the ongoing fight for justice. Every night at 11 Eastern on the GCPR network.
so you know what time it is. It is 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, 11 o'clock Eastern Time, and you're listening to TNathan. So this must be Conversations with TNathan. And by Conversations with TNathan, I mean I talk and you all ask questions in the comments. It does not mean we platform, we use racist and rock and roll. That means we just we'll dissect them in the comment section. I still have to work on like the angle. When camera flips, it feels like I'm leaning this way, but on the video it shows I'm leaning the opposite way that I'm actually leaning. I'll work on that because it sometimes disorients me. Okay, no, it's not disorienting. It just irritates me. It just irritates me. You know me. Ah, yes, no problem. No problem. It is us. So, welcome, all of y'all who are joining me tonight. Welcome. Welcome to Conversation with TNathan. We're broadcasting live on the GCPR network and on the U of the tube. Let's see how long. Belichick, Belichick, Belichick. You see her up there. You see her up there. Yeah, she's doing her usual. I'm stalking you even while I'm asleep because if you move out this room, I will wake up. Yes, I might die tonight. What's wrong? Hold on. Leslie testing me. I yeah. Okay, I'm back. Greetings, everyone. Greetings, salutations, all those things associated with how the hell are. So, some things. We have some things to talk about today. We have some things to talk about today. today, um, President Zelensky and seven of the European world leaders, well, seven world leaders from Europe, including the EU president, um, they met with Donald Trump. Did they get the red carpet welcome that got in Anchorage, Alaska? No, they just some of our closest allies. The allies that when we um, activated Article 5 in the NATO Charter in September of 2011 or 9/11, who responded, but they don't get the red. But yeah, they were at the White House today. And I thought it was interesting because you all remember when Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend did the following, and he in the Oval Office when he was in there and he attacked Zelensky over his suit.
Why don't you wear a suit? You're the highest level in this country's office, and you refuse to wear a suit. Just want to see if you do you own a suit?
Yeah, you have problems.
A lot of Americans have problems with you not
Really?
respecting.
I don't have
the
such.
office.
I will wear costume after this war will finish.
Okay.
Yes, maybe one.
Maybe something
Maybe
like this?
something like
Yes,
yours.
sir.
Yes.
That'd be great.
Maybe something better. I don't know. We will see. Maybe something cheaper than yeah. Thank you. Thank you for.
So y'all remember that, right? You all remember when back in February when JD, I wear my mascara is running Vance and Donald Trump attacked Zelensky in the Oval Office and Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend, the pseudo reporter there, attacked Zelensky for not wearing a suit. Y'all remember that? And I was like, yeah, all the things going on, and this is what your issue is. And I'm gonna say, Zelensky wore a suit today, and I don't like. It's not like I thought the suit looked horrible. I just don't think he should have. But that is when you're bullied and you're trying to save your country. You wear the suit. But today, Zelensky had the last word. Let's take a look at what he said today. That I feel like out of all the things that came out of this, I don't even know what we're gonna call it. I need somebody to think of a name for these two summits back to back. I need someone to think of a name of because my name's far. But this is what Zelensky did today.
President Zelensky, you look fabulous in that suit.
I said the same thing.
Yeah, you look good.
I said the same thing.
Yeah, looks good on
I
you.
said to the one that attacked you last time. See, now he said, I remember that.
Yeah, I apologize to you. You look wonderful. No, my first question for you, President Zelensky.
In the same suit. You see, I changed. You are not.
Maybe yours is much better.
And that was priceless. Yes, that was priceless because um, Carson was wearing the same suit and the same tie that he wore in February to this news. It makes me think he only has one suit. If I'm being- He has one suit, but the clapback on that was priceless. It was like Zelensky won. He said, I have on a suit. I changed. You have on the same suit. You did. Oh, the idea that was the pettiest clapback I've seen from a world leader in a long time did my heart. Did my Trump look worn out, slumped, and a total body. Yeah, I think I'm here on time. Hey, yeah, listen. Yeah, Trump does look worn, but I don't know. For me, he's always looked worn out. So maybe I'm just in the majority. I've always think he looked worn out. He just hides it better. I don't know. I, yeah, I don't know. But just me. But it's the idea that Trump had to stop. I don't know if you all watched it. I had to listen to it in a little busy today. And those of y'all who know. We were listening to it in between stops. I was listening to it. I was listening to it and talking to people because I have to multitask. But I was listening to it, and Trump stopped the meeting with the other world leaders and Zelensky in the Oval Office to go call Vladimir Putin. Is it just me? Is it just me? He stopped the meeting to go talk to Vladimir. I thought, compared to the others at the table, he can't sit up there. Now, Gracie, I think that is valid because you see him in context of other world leaders, and the dichotomy is so obvious. I think some of the reasons he Donald Trump is not on the intellectual level of the other world leaders, and his age shows with them. But JD Vance is not on their intellectual level either, and that shows also. So you have that. But I was taken aback that Donald Trump stops the meeting, goes have a 40-minute conversation with Putin, who doesn't want to negotiate with Zelensky. And I will say this: even the wearing of the suit today by Zelensky, when there's a reason why he didn't wear suits and no other world leader, it just shows how much they're trying to placate Donald Trump. And the idea that we're watching the selling off of the Ukraine, and we can make the argument that that's a European problem. That's a European problem that's going to have repercussions for the United States. This is about integrity. And one of the things that I've seen, and I go back to President Obama in 2014. Tavia, not what? No, stop, Tavia. I I think I go back to 2014 when Russia invaded Crimea, and President Obama was president. I don't think people realize when I talk about things, they'll try to throw things up to me, like because President Obama did some fuck shit that I'm supposed to go along with it. And I was like, yeah, I thought it was fuck shit then, just like I think it's fuck shit now. But at the end of the day, um, trying to make a deal of a country that is at war with one of the countries and then going back and telling them what the other country is going to do. Yeah, I think of it this way: how many people would say if there was a war and I'm a country, you pick Mexico or Canada because that's what I'm talking about. It has to be somebody that's next door to us that can be able to hold the territory. Even though neither one of those, we could actually fight a war against Mexico and Canada at the same time, and our military would be able to not just win, but if you wanted to, run into each one of those countries. That is a foregone conclusion. One thing about the United States military, it has that ability. But just say something happened and the Mexico took over Texas. Just this is a this is my fantasy. Let me have it. So say if Mexico took over Texas and they took it over and for years, for 3 years they fight and they said, okay, we want to negotiate peace, but we keep in Texas. Who going for that? But we expect Ukraine to go for that. The war, Russia is the aggressor, always has been, and this is the war that they initiated, and somehow we think it's all right to say, hey, just keep that land, and we will talk about it. Yeah, that's not it. And Tavia, no, I'm not listening to your text messages in the middle of the show anymore. Yeah, we're not going. So that is a thing. So I said I would talk about it, but that's all I really want to talk about it because at the end of the day, nothing was solved. Nothing has been solved. I mean, Putin is winning. Putin gets the United States to back off of sanctions and demand for a ceasefire, and he keeps attacking the Ukraine while everyone's twiddling their thumbs, talking about what they would do because the United States is not on board. And so, but I'm telling you this: Germany will send land troops into Ukraine to fight Russia. Germany will do it. That's one thing I know about white people, European history, is I know which white people don't like the other white people. And Germany and Russia do not like each other. Yeah. Germany and Russia do not like each other. And Germany has a good military. And they could put boots on the ground. Uh, Tavia, Tavia, please don't make me cut your messages off doing the show. 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. You cannot message me. All right. So that's what's going on there. Now I want to transition. And any questions we have on geopolitics during the show, I'll come back to them and answer them. I want to transition to this situation that unfolded in Seattle a couple of days ago when this man shot a Navy veteran um, in the chest. pulled the gun out and shot him. And first time, yes, I found out he's a man or something. And the vet was down at the, yeah, the vet was just minding his business, performing. And the man came down there and he did follow. And I'm going to tell you, this video is going to be, this video is hard to watch. This is a hard to watch video. So if you, um, yeah, I don't usually give trigger warnings. Let's get it.
All right, everybody. Show me your ID. Pull a fucking gun on me. Show me your ID. Pull a fucking gun on me. Pull a fucking gun on me.
Try to kill it all away, but I remember everything.
All right, everybody. I apologize.
I become my sweetest friend. Everyone I know goes away in the end.
That's the individual that did the shooting. Yeah, he shot the vet because he said that the vet was not a vet. The Navy vet that was sitting in his chair with his patches on it, and you see at the beginning, the white man is the aggressor in this situation. He snatches the vet comes down there and he performs. He performs on that Seattle walkway runway, area on a regular basis, right? And towards the end of his show, this piece of shit did what you see there. This piece of shit engaged in shooting the vet, claiming that he had barrel, stolen barrels, and I found that despicable. Yeah, that was not the answer, right? And so let's take a look. And now, and now the vet lived. Let's just say that the vet lived, and I want to take a look at the video.
Well, the victim, his name is Harold Powell Sr. He's still recovering after being shot in the chest, and video captures the moment an encounter on the waterfront turns violent. Harold Powell Sr. proudly wears his military hat and displays this on his wall.
Well, it means everything to me. That's who I am. I was in the United States Navy submarine service for 14 years, and I transferred out.
Powell performs regularly along Seattle's busy waterfront, positioning himself next to a sign that highlights his military service as he entertains tourists.
I play different tamarines with different songs.
But an encounter on July 31st quickly turned violent. Powell describes the events that led to this moment.
I was getting ready to leave, and a gentleman walked up to me. He says, "How long are you going to be here?" I said, I'm wrapping up. I said, "Why?" He says, "Because you're a fake veteran." I said, no, I'm a veteran, man.
Powell says he reached into his bag to retrieve proof.
And I says, "No, I got ID." He grabbed my belongings.
Police say Gregory Tim ripped off a military patch.
So he took my stuff away. And then people was like, "Hey," because he was trying to take my stuff. So I had a knife, so I took my knife out.
Witnesses say Tim did not back down, and Powell took out what was later identified as a holstered airsoft gun. Tim then pulled a gun from his own backpack and shot Powell in the chest.
I've been shot point blank with a .45. I'm dead.
Police and paramedics rushing in took Tim into custody and Powell to the hospital.
God said, "I can't survive this." That's what I thought.
But he did. After more than a week in the hospital, he's home and not focusing on the violence that almost cost him his life.
I'm living. Keep on living if you're living.
For that, he's thankful.
But what a day, you know. I'm just grateful, you know. I'm grateful I'm here.
Now, because of the shooting, Pal is unable to work right now. His family has started an online fundraiser to help him with his recovery. Joyce?
And has the suspect been charged in this case yet, Natalie?
Yes, charged with assault, and prosecutors say Gregory Tim cannot say it was self-defense because police believe he's the one that started this confrontation. His next court date is set for Monday. Joyce?
Now let me tell you something, right? That was attempted murder. This is attempted murder. This is not assault. This is attempted murder, and he gets charged with assault. Do you understand that? He got charged with assault, attempting to murder this black veteran, right, that has served faithfully in this country and has lost a leg. And this man has been discharged with assault. This man antagonized the situation by basically stealing this man's property. This man is still in a wheelchair with one leg. This man was in a wheelchair with one leg. He had a knife on him for defense, and stealing his stuff and tips and all. And there was no way this man was a threat. None. Road trip, road trip, road trip needs to take place. And this is the emboldening that people feel. This is the emboldening that people. I've had. It's so funny. I remember when because the internet, people will come on and criticize like, oh, you were never. I like it. You were never in the military. So I got pictures, you know, and, and former military service. Wow. One thing you say, I might have got a less than honorable discharge, but I did serve. And this is what gets me. It's like these people have this sense of entitlement. These people have this sense of entitlement that he thought he was entitled to, with no evidence to the contrary, telling this man that he didn't serve, he wasn't a veteran, and shot and shot him. Yeah, yeah, just definitely. He looked around like everyone was crazy for being scared of him. Listen, pirate, and I'm still giving it up for the man that was hiding behind the flower, still film. I mean, give it up. Yeah. But when people start running, it was like, it's just like you shot this man. This is almost point blank range, and he survived. He survived. He like just see him there in he's not recovering nicely since being shot at the end of June, and telling his side of the story. And we've all seen the video, but he survived, and that's a testimony in and of itself. But the idea that they're only charging him with assault, they're only charging him with assault, really got me. That really has blown me, that he only has been charged with assault. Um, that's attempted murder. Yeah, that's attempted murder. There is no there. What else do you call it? He, like I said, he initiated this. He attacked the man in the wheelchair with one leg. The kid was in no danger. They can't be right. Only assault. Right. Yes, they charged him with assault, not attempted murder. Attempted murder, no. Charged him with assault, and it's like that really blows me. I'm like sitting here watching this, and I'm like, is anybody else watching the same video I'm watching? That is attempted murder. And this is the thing about the dichotomy of serving this country and then being treated like, and I see it every day. Everybody knows about Jamie. If you're in here, you know about Jamie. And I see how veterans are treated by this system that uses them up and throws them away, traumatizes them and throws them away. This man has one leg, well, one full leg. I think it's amputated just above the knee or just below the knee. But where is the out? That's why I tell people that we talk a good game when it comes to donating to us and our causes. Unlike, but I still think this veteran has not collected as much money as Lieutenant Dan, who tied his boat up in the middle of a hurricane, then used the F slur, meaning N slur, and still got not only a new boat, but raised over $40,000 in his GoFundMe. This veteran who has served this country and is not a piece of shit, he can't barely raise any money. He has to, and then he has to perform to subsidize his income on the riverfront in the first place. That's why I am running my patience has run thin with so-called liberal progressive type people because of the fact that they talk a good game. But when it comes to actually helping the people you're saying you're talking about, it's not for, and yes, I understand it's not everybody, so don't anybody come in here saying that. Just like when we say men ain't shit, we know we don't mean everybody, but so such a large majority of them are not, that we get to this point where if you are doing what you're doing, then don't put this shoe on and walk around in it. But most of the time, people put the shoe on and walk around in it because it fits, because it fits. And that's what you get to when you see these things. When I saw that the man had not raised as much on his GoFundMe page as Lieutenant Dan did, and Lieutenant Dan was responsible literally for everything that happened to him and losing his boat, and he's a piece of shit, I screamed. What's up, my attorney? Yeah, yeah, yeah. And here, that's not an attorney, that's my attorney. Not yours, but mine. I just thought it. Good evening. Hope everything has a wonderful day. Long as day for me. Yep, long as day. Wonderful is perceptive. We have wonderful days after. Right now, we have days fighting and doing the work. Doing the work. So, and I also wish people stop. I don't, how do I put it? As not to offend or to unnerve, but y'all don't know you all know I don't care about offending or. But, and I'm telling you this to the people that follow me, that care about me. I'm talking to you all too. Stop commenting on my videos if you're not watching all of them. I'm gonna make a video. I think people have me fucked up. People think that I am doing this because I need pats on the back or because I just, I wasn't popular in high school and I'm living a second childhood or something now because I have a couple 100,000 followers. Listen, no, same OG, same OG. My videos are for you to listen to all of them. I I don't need pats on the back for doing the bare minimum. I need help. I need help to do the bare minimum. So if you are not, if you're gonna, and most of the time when people comment on my videos, I can tell they didn't watch all of them because they make a comment that doesn't take into account what I say later. And I know some of you all are my followers and supporters, and you want to leave a comment to boost the video. I appreciate that, but make sure you listen to the entire video before you leave a comment. I don't do this for the gratification of being looked at like, oh, yay, TNathan. No, I do it because I have something to say. And I think it's insulting to not listen to all my videos while also saying that you follow me and you support me. The support comes from listening to my entire video and then commenting on the question I asked in the video. I just want, yeah, you can do that and save it and before you post it and listen to the rest of the video and then adjust your comment accordingly. Because when I feel like a lot of people miss the points of my videos because they're just listening to get to a point where they want to respond instead of listening. I put out videos that are call to action. I don't need you to just comment on how horrible the situation is. I need you to respond with the call to action. And I know that is the part with social media that other people walk a balance with their followers of trying not to offend them. I'm not walking that balance. My balance is I use this as a tool, and this tool is to bring about change and to get things done. If we're not doing that, I can go. I can do like TLC says. I can go have a lot of conversations with myself. Yeah, I can do that. And I know that's the reason why I don't have the same kind. I have great supporters that are real supporters, and I can name some names, but I'll probably leave somebody out, and I don't. But you all know who y'all are. I have great supporters that actually do the work. I'm talking to the people who want to be perceived in my comment section as thinking they have something to say spectacular, or they just want to be perceived as doing the work. I will trade all of them away for the people who actually do the work. I will trade all of them away for the people who actually listen and understand the assignment. Yes, I will do that. I don't have any problem with it. I don't have any problem with it. I'm not just for show. And therefore I'm not impressed by other people who are just for show. Understand me. I have I have disbanded a whole what would you have called it? You call it an organization? I don't call it an organization. I called it a movement. I called it more than that because to me it was we birthed something that was supposed to bring about change. And when I see it didn't, I disbanded in the face of that. Not only wrong, I found some great people along the way, but the fold was not living up to what it was created to be. And therefore, I don't know, coalition, no, I was a leader. I don't know if coalition sounds better than organization, but at the end of the day, it was a failure because I failed. I failed. And when I saw that I failed, I disbanded because it wasn't living up to. I could have strung it along and become more popular because of that. But that's not it. We're not doing it for that. This is what the work looks like. This is what true leadership sounds like. And this is how we hold ourselves accountable to saying that we're doing the work. If we can't do that, then we're not doing the work. I hold myself accountable every day. Every day I say I'm not doing. I'll be seriously thinking about putting on a shiesty and going and rob a bank because I feel like I'm not doing enough. That's how I feel. I feel like I need to do more, and I don't ask people to do anything. I ask people to do things I can't do financially, but I never ask people to put themselves in situations when it comes to the revolution that I'm not willing to put myself in. So yes, I have. I be contemplating. I be thinking like the Weather Underground. I be thinking about the organizations from the '60s that did what they had to do to finance the revolution, and I realized, yeah, what I wouldn't give for like 12 of those people that also were physically capable of doing that, because that's how we got COINTELPRO. TNathan is not a failure. Things from learning, so absolutely not a failure. But I understand. Right. I I feel you. Thank you. And I know, Jessica, you have been there. You have been there. You know exactly what I'm talking about. But it was a failure. It was a it was a failure because I underestimated social media's popularity. It's just some people just wanted to be social media popular. I wanted to. We run. I run pedos off of TikTok. Give information and give it to people to get them. But I was the type that I just didn't want to run them off. I wanted to run over them, and I thought that's what everybody wanted to do. I didn't realize some people would just, you know, I didn't. I didn't. I did, and that was my fault because I should have known that. I just used to think, as coming from the background I came from and the loyalty I had in the organizations I have been in before, because contrary to movies, there's a lot of loyalty in the idea of spending time with people whose lives depend on you being a defender, and therefore it's not a lot of fuck shit going on. But I thought that so-called pretendivists or pretendivists and pretend revolutionary, I actually thought they were better than what I came from. So I still bring the same standard, but I realized that some people just want a lot of clicks and views and likes. Oh, of course. I always do, regardless. I mean, I'm always going to be stronger because of everything I go to. I just don't have the same outward perspective on. That's why I'm so critical of other people when they do fuck shit like sell buses that don't exist or community garden. That's why I'm so hard on them, because the backlash that the people who are doing the work receive is directly proportionate to those people. And that's why I want to run over them also. Yeah, and that's why you all hear me and I talk about the fact that we have to spend just as much time pruning than we do fighting the fight. And we have we have to. Yes, that makes me mad. It just really gets to me when you have to, I can say, be like Wanda and Endgame, where and you have to destroy an Infinity Stone while holding off somebody with five Infinity Stones at the same time, and that's what we find ourselves doing. We find ourselves doing. So there is that, and then you run around and you listen to people who are not going to do anything but talk. Um, and people would send me. I didn't realize we were all over YouTube. People will send me clips, and I'll be like, "Why'd you send me that? I said it." I know people will send me clips that people have made of my videos or from my, and they have put them out there with a caption. I was like, well, I don't know, I don't care about the caption. I said it. And it's like, did you say this? Yep, I said it. I sure did. I said it. And are we fighting? That's all I need to know. Are you pulling up? Are we fighting? And at the end of the day, there are some people that I look at that I was talking to my brother today, and we were reminiscing about a lot of the people that are the so that TikTok is presently enamored with in the revolutionary aspect, right? And I be thinking about, I know you, right? 20-minute warning, GCPR. You all know I know you. I know you. I know when you had to take a break and all of a sudden you act like you the hardest thing in the revolution. But I remember when you came on here talking about, I gotta take a break because another black man was killed and his family is mourning, but you in your whiteness, you gotta take a break because you can't take it anymore. Yeah, I don't forget that. I don't forget that. There was several of them like that. I don't. Yeah, call me crazy, right? But consistency is what is needed in revolutionary leaders. Consistent. And a lot of times you all are following people who are not consistent. You are following people that will take a break in the middle of you storming the rampart. They're like, look, I gotta take a break. I know I got you here storming the rampart. I'm gonna go over here and take a break. Because that's one of the things I tell you why I don't follow white liberals anymore. Because white liberals can always take a break. White liberals and progressives, they can always take a break, and they have. In our history, white liberals and progressives have always fought for a point that they can take a break at and tell black people and brown people to be patient, we'll get back to you. I said it, and I can show you historically where it has happened. And women, y'all should stop following white men, period. All women, y'all should really stop following white men, period. Because at best, they're always going to tell you to be patient. Yeah, that's why Roe versus Wade was never codified into law. And that's why you all need the right to vote to 1921. And that's why even when you got the right to vote, they expect you to vote the way they. Yep, I said what I said. This is a night of me saying what I'm saying. If you have a problem with it, pull up and we can just you can discuss it and I can punch. Exactly, because it really doesn't affect them. It doesn't. I mean, and I learned that from a white woman. A white woman told me that after she came to a protest I put on at the federal building in Gulfport, Mississippi. And she says, I support you. I really support you. But understand that if things get too hot for me or any of these women who came with me, we live in a gated community. I want you to never forget that. That doesn't mean that she didn't support me or she would fight. She was telling me basically about other white women that she knows. She said I was, but she also knew she was in her late 60s, early 70s, so I wasn't going to drag her out to a battlefield in the first place. But she was letting me know that the history that she has observed is that white women that often show up because it is trendy are not the ones that are like Viola Louisa. And if you know, you know. Viola was true to it. Viola defined her family when they asked her, Look, are you taking those Negroes to vote again? Don't you know the Klan is out here? Viola, I wish Viola would have been armed and had some protection because that's what I would have liked to have seen so she wouldn't have been a footnote in history. But she did what it took in space of the danger. But um, I was being let know that, hey, at the end of the day, if it get too hot, they can go back to their husbands and their gated communities and feel like they have done their part because they sent gave you a couple of dollars. At the end of the day, no, yeah. If I hear screaming in the background, if y'all hear screaming, that's the TV. Listen, listen, and so that's why I say it is complicated because a lot of people I watch people follow on this app. I know who they are. I know who they are. And I know that either they're intellectually dishonest with you all, and they're intellectually unable to hold a conversation that actually is about facts and truth and reality of situation. And they expect you to, support their bus habits. So I know I know. Because I think about what we could do with $396,000. I think about that. I think about people who have community gardens like Shay, what we can do with for people that we can really change lives and help people. But we have a magic school bus. Yeah, I feel some kind of way about that. And I even feel some kind of way that people don't feel some kind of way about it. That's why you see me when I go to the lives that a lot of you all go to because they ain't about shit. It took a minute. First, I had to realize that most of the time I was hearing myself talk and that people were just agreeing. And I thought, well, yeah, we're making progress. I'm not making progress because their actions speak more louder than that. So I'm one of those people, I don't need a panel discussion to talk and to have an issue discussed for a whole show. A lot of people need panel discussion because they're unable to talk about multiple topics, like the fascination with having conversations about where you're going. Are you going to, does your date take you to the Cheesecake Factory or list of factories? I'd be like, this is a real stupid conversation. Because if you're not going on a date to get to know somebody, you just want a meal, go buy your own damn meal. You can go wherever you want to. What is the conversation about? What is the conversation about? You don't want to have a you want to get to know my wallet and not me, then you go buy your own meal. But I don't care if I take you wherever you want to go. If we're not getting to know each other and you're ordering 16 crab legs and taking some home to somebody at home, yeah, we got problems. Just fuck it. Move on. Cam just came in. Cam sneaked in. I didn't see Cam come in. But at the end of the day, it is not. It's not that I don't understand that people have other interests. It's that when you sell yourself as something, then you have to show up and be that. When you can't respond, and I'm saying this for people that think they're progressive, and I guess they are. But if you don't have the intellect to address talking points of the right, maybe you should stay in the study stage until you can. Maybe you can. If you're going to host lives and you want people to come up, you're just doing it for clicks and views because you're not doing it because you really want to educate the community on stances. You just want to see. Most of the people that do those lives, they just want to prove they're smart to somebody. And I just be looking at them like, Bella's smarter than you. That's why I don't go. That's why I don't get invited to these lives. Also, I don't get invited to these lives because even people that follow me on YouTube, I had to stop going to their lives because people accuse you of you're taking over the live. I said, well, stop talking about stupid shit or being wrong about stupid shit, and I will be quiet. But I can't go into a live and somebody doesn't say something that is historically inaccurate or is not rooted in fact, and I'm supposed to just sit there and be like, oh, that's no, fuck that. This is where especially when people want to call themselves teachers or they want to call themselves educating somebody. I say you need to go educate yourself first. and block you because of yes, yeah, and block you because of you all don't know how many. If those who've been with me, especially my chief of security, because chief of security he follows me around like I stalk him when he's playing games or something, right? He just follow me around. We go to lives, and I'll be like, yeah, okay, and I try, and I'm like, that's not true. Oh well, I read this on Facebook. Like, yeah, and show me the source of it. Facebook. If you're if you listen, listen. If your idea is to come at me with Facebook, is to come at me with Facebook, is to come at me. Oh, not there, not there. Right, Facebook. These are just the books I have in here, right? If your idea is to come at me and your reference is Facebook, we're not the same. We're not the same. That you're Facebook sourcing. It's just like people that are running with these um, AI videos talking about stuff, and I just be asking, I was like, if they said somebody said something, why aren't they showing the person saying it, but they're showing AI generated video of the person? Yeah, if the person said something and there's video of it, why aren't you showing the video of it? Why are you not noticing that their fingers are meshing together? You didn't notice that the fingers mesh together, and that goes back to we talk about talk about biases that are confirming, or talk about you look for stuff to confirm your belief, confirmational biases, right? And if you can't source. Like when you all see me, when we talk about, I talk about Zelensky, and I pull up the source. This is the source material. I tell you what we got it from. What's the challenge? I can tell you what book I read this weekend. The select letters of Ralph Ellison. This is one of my favorite. I always go back to it. It's essays, letters by Ralph Ellison. And tell you something about books like side note. Tell you something about reading material that is essays or letters from somebody like Ralph Ellison. The more you go down the path, the more you can go back to a previous letter of Ralph Ellison and get something different because you're at a different point in your journey or build on something that maybe didn't make sense. It's like, I don't know if you're like me, but my grandmother and mother used to tell me all kinds of things and teach me all kinds of lessons. And they were so layered. It's like at one point in my life, listening to the lesson, I got this from it, but I would hear the same lesson at another point in my life, and I realized, oh, you were talking about this also, because that's relevant. And that's what select letters of Ralph Ellison do, or even some of Toni Morrison's work do, because they're so layered that they unfold as you live certain life experiences. That's my Toni Morrison, Ralph Ellison, some, but lots of things. But if you don't bring anything to the table, you can't take anything from the table. But they watch an 8 hour debate where the panel gets led on a 7 hour tangent of tangent. The tangent is a tangent. I used to watch that too. I used to be sitting in on a panel, and I'd be like, how far would those stray from the topic? And it's not just straying far from the topic in a way that is connecting dots to another topic. But you allow a bigot or a racist to come in here and to take the conversation somewhere in we're victims. Like somewhere white people became the victims in the discussion of slavery. It's like Jillian Michaels the other day on CNN when she started saying, she thought, oh, slavery was something that happened for thousands of years and no one is to blame. It has a 1,000 year history. I was like, is somebody gonna tell her we're not talking about Rome 1,000 years ago? We're talking about the system that exists in the world today, based on the system of 400 years of the transatlantic slave trade. We're not talking about what the Moors did, because if we want to talk about the Moors did, they taught Europeans how to wash their ass. You're supposed to be. You're supposed to be interesting because they thought that just changing their underwear on a regular basis was good personal hygiene. That was it. Like washing your ass on a regular basis. You understand the folklore of people coming and saying we don't take a bath once a month because like God. I don't know why they. And it's, you think about the Bible and it says next to godliness. I guess the pilgrims and the just skip that whole chapter because you also know that Europe was not called Europe all the time. It used to be referred to as Christian during the Crusades. So we talk about the Crusades one day. You all want to present the history of the Crusades and the people of color out of the Holy Land. And, Jews came and thought it was theirs. And here we are today. Um, we can have a whole conversation. 5-minute warning. 5-minute warning to my international audience. Yeah, they don't even bring critical thought to the table. They read the book. Listen, some think they'll only have to take a bath once a year in salt and pepper all the season. As a woman, I should do this. I want to show you the video. There's this woman, and she made a video. And the video, she's literally asking questions. And I want you all to hear this video. And I'm curious on your thoughts. I'm curious on your thoughts on this video because I got some guidelines that I'm making on the video. But do you know what today is? It's our anniversary. Let me see if I can get it onto where it needs to be so I can show it to you. Bum, 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 bum. So let's get to it. And I'm curious. I really want somebody to answer this question. Yeah, I really want somebody to answer this question. I have to build. Now, there are those who are going to want to argue with me in this video about my characterization of the video I'm about to show. Before you do that, go argue with your mama, because she's the one that should have taught you how to wash your feet on a regular basis. Remember this as you watch the video I'm about to show you.
Nobody washes the bottom of their feet when they shower. Okay, question. Do you or do you not wash the bottom of your feet every single time you shower? Because
maybe not every single time,
but do you wash the bottom of your feet?
Do you wash your feet? Just do you wash your feet?
But everyone washes their body, but do you go and wash the bottom of your feet, or do you feel like they just get clean being on the tile?
No.
Kayla, what are you even talking about? How are you even asking this question? And I was with the boyfriend, husband, whatever he is there for a moment until he said, not all the time. What? Now, everybody might not know that each foot has 250,000 sweat glands, and they produce about a pint of sweat a day. But we do know they have sweat glands, right? Right? Like your armpits and other parts of your body that you wash on a regular basis. I hope. But you're asking this question in the face that athlete's foot exists, that fungal infections exist, that hookworms are conditioned linked to poor foot hygiene. You can't make this up. And maybe it's just me, but most of the time when I see people asking these kinds of intellectually challenged hygiene questions, it's not people that look like me. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So, I put in y'all's hand. I'm curious. I'm curious. Is this something that really has to be explained in 2025? Is it something that really has to be explained? Do we really have people running? First, I was surprised when I found out that you know white people are talking about washcloths. It's like that was strange to me. Um, okay, pull up the remote control. That was strange to me. Um, Common sense isn't common, right? That's why I stopped referring to it. While you all contemplate that, I'm going to show contemplate that. GCPR. Thank you all for joining me tonight, and we'll be back tomorrow, Tuesday. Same Wakanda station, same Black Panther time. Tell you all I'm lining up before I go. I want to let you all know too. Probably tomorrow or Wednesday, hopefully tomorrow night, we're going to talk with a young lady whose husband was detained by ICE after a court appearance. So I've been talking to her, um, trying to get her on, and we're going to talk to her and what she's going through and how we can raise awareness about it. So that's coming this week. We'll be talking to her. And the first, while he's still working his way through the system, detained by ICE, while he's working his way through the system, we're going to protect her identity until such time as we get through the system, and she's gonna come back and we're gonna have more conversation. But we're gonna talk with it. All right, all right, all right. That's what we got going on, GCPR, and join us tomorrow. All right, all right. So that's what's coming down the line. I wanted GCPR to know that so we can uh, and talk about questions. Uh, she's not going to hear a lot of the questions because I'm not going to allow it. In case some of you all get down wrong, somebody comes in get down wrong, we will fight. But we're going to. Um, so I'm probably not going to put her on. She doesn't have social media like this, so we'll have to make sure we send her a link. And I think I'm going to do it on telephone first, just so make sure I protect her emotional sanity also, because that is. So y'all be on the lookout for that. Now back to my last conversation. I was I was surprised about the whole washcloth thing. I was surprised about the leg thing. When people ask you, do you wash your legs or do you just what the wash? So the foot thing got me too. I'm telling you, I just don't know these type people. I just don't know these type people. I mean, you don't scrub the bottom of your feet. Like, even if you go through the idea that you're standing in water where all the dirt has flowed down your body to your legs and your feet, and you get out the shower, you don't wash your feet. Does anybody else have to scrub their feet to get the dead skin off of it? Do you know how much dead skin comes off your feet when you get? I got a little scrubber, and scrubber, and rinse them off. And you mean to tell me you all are not washing your feet? Is that really a thing? And then I was like you heard me. I'm with the boyfriend or husband or whatever he is until he said at least sometime. I'm like at least sometime. Does anybody know about athlete's foot? I'm like hoof and mouth disease. Somebody make it make sense. Go. Somebody. Anybody. I'm open to making it sense. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Somebody tell me who was having these conversations about washing their body parts. I don't know if someone reaches their feet, I'll never put the toe in my mouth. Oh, y'all know it's not true. So, hold on, change is coming. Yeah. Do you get it? Do you understand what we're going through here? Do you understand? Is it just me? Is it just me? I guess it's just me. If nobody else is weighing in, so I guess it's just me. Yeah, but I don't. It's y'all's fault. It's you all's fault. I'm not even hungry no more because that's just nasty. I wash my feet. Remember how complex they were doing the plague and how the Arab nations survived? Right. When we talk about, when we go back to the Moors and how they were telling people during the Black Plague when they invaded, they say, you sleep with your livestock. You're sleeping with livestock running around your house in your sleeping area and you wonder why you're sick. Yeah, I don't understand how people don't use a nail brush. I don't understand. I don't know how they not wasting your feet, washing your feet was the thing. I don't, Gracie. I just don't. And then to argue with the fact that historically the indigenous people of this country taught the pilgrims that you need to do more than change your underwear on a regular basis to be hygienically correct. You putting the same dirty nuts and coochie in clean underwear is not the hygienic thing to do. Listen, it's the idea, but and I say this, and I don't get offended, but most of the time when I hear stuff like that, it's from people like Demi Moore. I mean, not Demi Moore, not Demi Moore. I haven't heard from Demi. What's her husband's name? Her husband and his new wife, Ashton Kutcher and his wife, talking about they don't bathe their children on a regular basis. Um, it's just strange because some of these people are like, I'm like, is it melanin that just causes you to think like that? Yeah, Mia Kunis. Yeah. Is it just lack of? And then I'm like, I know people that have melanin deficiencies that still wash their feet. It's like, what? Was there a lot to unpack with Ashton E. Sus? There's a lot to unpack. If you mean by sus, meaning that his behavior, his hygiene, and his behavior and stances of supporting um, people who take things from women without their consent, yes, he's very sus. He's very sus. Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna go my the spaceship and go to Neptune. You probably get there and there's somebody not washing their feet. Yeah, his behavior of supporting. Yes, while also, this is the thing that gets me about that whole support of his friend who was engaging in those kind of activities. He's a staunch supporter of anti-human trafficking. So that just makes me think sometimes. Yeah. Have y'all seen the family bathwater video? No, I don't want to. I told you, they're just things you run across and you be like, "That's what we're doing right now. This is it. This is really it." Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know where we got the idea from. I really don't be knowing. I be asking myself, but I still don't be knowing. Um, I'm gonna do a video on this man, Benny Johnson. And Benny Johnson said he had lived in Washington for 15 years. Did y'all see the video of Benny Johnson? Benny made a video. He was actually at the White House with Carolyn Lee, our favorite White House correspondent, that they were trying to justify Trump's takeover of D.C. And he said he lived in D.C. for 15 years. I want to say he said he lived in D.C. for 15 years. And during those 15 years, that he so hold on. During the 15 years, he experienced a robbery, his house caught on fire, he watched somebody get murdered, and all this. And then you know me, I have to go look at saying, well, someone set your house on fire. That's news, right? That's news. So I went down to the store come to find out that yes, his house did catch on fire, but they couldn't confirm it was arson. They thought it was an internal situation, and it's telling us he set his house on fire. He blamed it all on black people or people of color that and said, we need to get it under control. And I was like, why hadn't been in the court? You witnessed the murder and you had a ring door cam and you saw a woman get robbed for $20. How do you know how much she got robbed for? If you were watching it on your ring door cam. I just like, how did you know what she got robbed for? Can somebody make it sense? Make it make sense. Hold on, let me get this for y'all. Hey Johnson, and he's a right wing podcaster now. Um, he's a right wing podcaster. And he just said he's been. I'm like, if I lived in New York and Washington and all that stuff happened to me, do you think it's time maybe you the problem? And yeah, you the problem. And of course, he was on Fox News. And Carolyn, I want the long video. Hold on, let's see, 30, a 42-second video. See, uh, yeah, he was just oh yeah, he was on Fox News. So I want, and I was like, and I want y'all to tell me if you believe all these things happened to Benny, right? I want you to tell me if all these things happened to you in the time period that you say it did, and you have the means, why are you still there? Yeah, yeah. Why y'all still there? Yeah, hold on, let's get out. You send it to, you send it to, well, we need it. Because I really want somebody to tell me what in the hell is Benny talking about? Mm-mm-mm, mm-mm-mm-mm. Hey, hey, hey. Now I know my truth. Next time I won't see you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm looking at me like teenage. Feeling nothing more than feeling. Trying to forget my feelings.
As a DC resident of 15 years, I lived on Capitol Hill. I witnessed so many muggings.
Hold on, because you're not going to believe it. You just have to see it. And we got all kinds of questions. Okay. So this is Benny. This is Benny, in case you didn't. And that's the Antichrist mouthpiece. Did he sign out?
As a DC resident of 15 years, I lived on Capitol Hill. I witnessed so many muggings and so much theft. I lost track. I was carjacked. I have murders on my Ring camera and mass shootings. I witnessed a woman on my block get held up at gunpoint for $20. And my house was set ablaze in an arson with my infant child inside. And so to any reporter that says and lies that DC is a safe place to live and work, let me just say this. Thank you.
Put him on the right wing of an airplane and play the right. Listen, did you hear all those? Did you hear? Mind you, this is a man who was fired from BuzzFeed. Thank you. I was going to get to that. I didn't know. That's what I like about Pirate. Yes, he was fired for plagiarism, you all, from BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed. He was fired from BuzzFeed for plagiarism. And listen, Benny has taken away two. Listen, I couldn't find anywhere. I found, like I say, I found the fire at his house, right? And the fire at his house was, caused no evidence on the fire at his house was caused by anything. It's probably his own neglect, right? But you go off, and it's like do your thing, and but you say you witnessed a murder. He has never testified in a murder case in his life. There's no murder case. You witness a woman getting robbed on you your ring doorbell cam should be sequestered, and not just subpoena. This should be sequestered because yeah, yeah. No, we're not buying it, Penny. We're not going for it. Get the banana out the tailpipe. But this is the thing. This is the low hanging fruit that we get. This is the low hanging fruit, and we're expected to say, "Yeah, sounds about right." Yeah. And I'm not surprised that the governors that sent 1,000 National Guard troops to D.C. Yeah, let's see how they turn out. It amazes me. You can send all these troops to D.C. now, but you can send them to D.C. on January the 9th, the 6th. You could send them on any day in January. You could. There were National Guard troops there when we were doing protests on the National Plaza. Yep, the bar was on the floor and he couldn't. listen, listen, plagiarism. Maybe he's doing a Tubi movie. Stop. It's interesting that you place that because this guy was making a video and he was talking about how the Redstone family owns BET, and that's the reason that BET has such stereotypical shows that show stereotypes again and a negative impact on black people, right? And I was like, yeah, because obviously y'all didn't grow up when BET was owned by the Johnsons because the programming hasn't gotten any better as far as that goes. I know a lot of black-owned things that deal in black-owned stereotypes because they make money. There's a show on HBO called The Wire, and The Wire, everyone praised it. It's great acting, and that's true. As long as you realize it's a fantasy world. But The Wire was more realistic than Breaking Bad. But at the end of the day, just realize these are fantasies. Yeah, these are fantasies. That's not how the streets work. And I like a lot of people go around operating from their privileged point, thinking that's how the streets work. And then when something happens, they be like, "But that's not how it happened on The Wire or Orange is the New Black." Are you not for real? The Wire was real. What's up, Chef? The Wire was real. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. Or was it good metaphor though? And like I say, as long as you all realize, metaphor is a good way to put it. As long as you realize you can't apply those standards across the board. Do you understand that? But what I was getting at with the comment, and it was a white guy, because white liberals sometimes have to justify things that no one in the black community is even justifying. And I be looking at them like, you took your platform and you wanted to. That's what you thought we wanted to talk about. Yeah, that's what we want to talk about. That because that it's a catering thing. It's a catering thing, and you usually cater to the most base and the most um, low hanging fruit in the situation, and the most low hanging fruit in the situation. And yeah, no one asked you. No one asked you. I told you all what I want you to use your white privilege for is help me dismantle the system that disproportionately impacts black and brown people towards the most horrible things in our society. If that's not what you're doing, I don't need you to tell me about a stereotype that you're not even processing correctly in the first place. I need you to say how we're going to dismantle this system so people can eat tomorrow. Yeah, how do we dismantle this system so that we can find equity. Notice anybody who tell you, if they tell you they follow me and I fight for equality, tell them they don't follow me. Anybody tells you that they follow me and they say, well, TNathan is always fighting for the equality of everybody. Yeah, no. I fight for equity, equal access to resources commensurate to your situation. That's what I fight for. Because we're not all equal. I'm 6'4". We're not all equal. There's certain people that have certain talents that are never going to be equal to yours, and you need to accept that. But we all need to have access to equity for our situation, so our situation don't become a crutch or crippling to us. That's what I fight. Because then, when you have equal access to equity, then you are on. then you are on merit, pirate. I'm cool as a cucumber. I'm cool as a cucumber in a banana town. All these baby references. I gotta check in on. We gotta check on Siren too. I haven't heard of that. So that is. I'm just saying, Tavia. If you're, I'm just saying. I can reach things on higher shelves that other people need ladders for, and that's fine. That's the equity. You have access to the ladder to get you up to reach the things on the top shelf, and if you don't want me to pass them to you, yeah, that's fine. But that's why equality is a joke. Yeah, I said it. We spent years thinking that we've been fighting for equality, and in some cases, equality to the people we're fighting is an insult. Is an insult when we should be. We're, our system provides equity, not equality. It's not ideal to think that you're going to outrun a track star that has, and you don't run on a regular basis at all. You're not trained. It is a fantasy world to believe you're going to beat Shakari Richardson down the 100 yard stretch. Yeah, that's fantasy. That's not equality. And I know people like, oh, we're talking about equality in the law. Well, nope. I'm talking about equity, access to equity, not just because most people think just like people think about reparations, because you don't know what reparations are, that you only get caught up on compensation instead of the other four elements of reparations. Do you all want me to have a conversation about the five elements of reparations and why most people get the conversation wrong? Yeah, anybody? Um, I don't even know who that was asking me to join to come co-host with them. I will do that. I will do it like this week. I will put up some old videos I've done, but I will talk about um, the five elements of reparations that most people don't get right. And that's why I say when a lot of you all listen to these people and they'll be talking about something, oh, yeah, we need reparations, and I'll be like, what's your plan? And they'll think I'm against reparations, but I'm like, what's your plan? And I don't mean for compensation because our government is not going to spend trillions of dollars on compensation anyway. So how is your reparation looking in accordance with the other four principles? Because one of the main principles about reparation is the security, the inability for what happened that requires you to need reparations to ever happen again. And we are not even there. We're not even there. When you're talking about reparations, to me, I mean security. I need how you're going to heal the scars that you've caused. I need to know how you're going to satisfy conditions that make sure these things don't happen again. I want to know how you're going to help with the trauma, and are you going to restore us to our points before reparations become necessary? And the answer is no to those. The answer is no. This country hasn't even done a truth and reconciliation. At least South Africa has done that. But this country doesn't even want you to talk about the scars caused by its original sin. It's amazing when people go, America's original sin is slavery, but we don't want to talk about it. It's a silent sin because anytime you talk about it in the long term effects, people are like, oh, you're just a victim. Yeah, yeah. My ancestors were victims. I fight, and I will punch you in the face right now for disrespecting. Yeah, let's try that. Let's start there. But I will do. I do. I messed up and got 40 mules. So you got 1 acre and 40 mules and not 40 mules. You got 1 acre and 40 mules and not 40 acres and a mule. I told you. And then people even get that story wrong, right? Black people in America wasn't promised 40 acres and a mule. Black people that were in a certain area that General Sherman liberated were promised 40 acres and a mule, but they didn't get it either. Some people did. But even that is a misunderstanding, right? Because people don't know what they be talking about. We should be able to mute. It's not fair. Yeah, yeah. You can't. Yeah, you can't. He's allowed to run free. Exactly. They want to erase the history of America's sin. Right. Uh, somebody's jealous of your view. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was a good one. That was just a good one. I'm sorry. That was just a good one. People running around here talking about 40 acres on a mule. We might as well talk about 40 mules on an acre. Uh, it's not. I agree with you. See, I feel unloved. Stop the gaslighting. Stop the gaslighting. Yeah, you feel unloved. That's you're gonna run to unloved because you can't mute pirate. Yeah, that's gaslighting 101. Yeah, yeah. Stop the gaslighting. Yeah. All right, y'all. It's late. Um, I want to show you some things we got coming down the pipe. Let's see. Find the pipe. Download this. I think I just have to let you. Hold on. Log out. Hey, nice. Fun. I'm here. I'm right now. Don't know how to do it. About that.